Welcome back. Just because many students will be learning online this year doesn't mean Black girls won't be singled out to receive harsher punishments. Kayla, how and why?
Well, what we see is that many schools are carrying over some of the policies that they use when kids are actually inside of school buildings. So we recently heard about the story of Grace, a student who was jailed for not completing her distance learning homework. And we know that many students have been struggling with engaging with that meaningful, rigorous work while at home. And that is not a one-off story. That could happen anywhere in any of our communities. We've also seen policies where school resource officers are tasked with monitoring mask wearing. That is just an entryway to really criminalize students, all students really, but we are particularly concerned about criminalizing Black girls who are most often actually punished for dress code violations. And so we really don't need school resource officers performing the jobs of educators. We've also seen schools say that students can't wear pajama pants to distance learning, right?
Exactly.
That is a problem, and it really sends a harmful message to students that what they're wearing is more important than what they're learning. And we really need to highlight to students what is really important is showing up and being ready to learn.
You know, I put that on my Facebook page and I got so many comments. And of course, the majority were for the parents that were saying, I have enough on my hands. I can barely keep myself together. Why do I have to worry about if my child has pajama pants on? At least they're showing up.
Right.
But then there were other parents that said it was so important to instill a daily routine. So I'm glad you brought that up.
I think things like that, like if you want to instill a daily routine, that should be the responsibility of parents and not the responsibility of schools who are tasked with really educating our kids. So that's where I would draw the line.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that one. Adaku, what types of infractions are Black girls being disciplined for?
Just talked about one of them, which is dress codes. And sometimes it's actually written into the student handbook that you can't have headscarves or natural hairstyles. So they are actually disciplining Blackness. And oftentimes it's also uneven enforcement. We talk to Black girls and they say that a lot of times they can be wearing the exact same thing as another white peer and they get dress coded, but their peer does not. So those are things that we see all the time for Black girls. And it's not, unfortunately, we're worried that it's not going to stop, even though students are distance learning, because if you look at the school districts that say that they're going to be strict on dress code enforcement, they're attended primarily by Black students. Another thing that we have seen is actually schools disciplining Black girls for not being able to navigate distance learning. So there was a girl who's 9 years old who was kicked out of her distance learning class in spring because she sent too many emails to tech support. And so she had questions. She didn't know what she was doing. And rather than, responding like anyone should to a child, which is to help them, she was blocked from the classroom. And, these things are really harmful because in every one of these stories, the girls that we spoke to and the girls who reported their stories, they said the same thing. It makes them feel like they don't belong in school. And like I said, Black girls are leaders. A lot of these things that they get punished for, speaking out, being assertive, those are leadership qualities. And when we punish Black girls for just showing up and being themselves, we're sending a really harmful message. And we're also, stopping our future leaders from growing into the leaders that they can be.
Yes, and you call it assertive, but oftentimes as Black girls and Black women, assertive is translated as being loud, obnoxious, got an attitude, and it has a negative connotation. So how do we help our Black girls to understand that, embrace who they are?
Well, I think what we need to do is to listen to them and to affirm them. One of the things that we did with this report is we talked with girls who not only were in these school districts where they had made positive changes to see, what they thought, but also how it could be improved upon. They drove the solutions in the report. Because like I said, Black girls are leaders. We are leaders. And really just listening to them and taking their concerns seriously because they're the ones who are walking the halls, you know, they're the ones who know what school feels like. And if we want to make schools a better place, we should listen to the people who are in them. So I think that's the most important thing you can do, is to listen to Black girls and hear their voices and legitimize them.
Stay with us.